Hey, you guys, happy Monday, and thank you so much for joining us. I apologize, there's been a little bit of a delay in my videos today, but as we all know, being a mom comes with flexibility. And so I've had a teething 6-month-old all day, which has just kind of thrown our schedule for a loop. So I apologize. My goal was to have this out earlier to you guys this morning, but I am here now and I'm just so excited to share my story with you guys and share my journey and share what this amazing coaching opportunity has done for me and for my family. And so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Monica Taylor. I am a wife, a mom. I have 4 boys and a daughter in heaven. I have Jaden, who is about to be 11 on Monday. Caleb just turned 5. Landon will be 4 in November. And then Noah is the baby who just turned 6 months old. And so we are crazy busy. We lead a crazy busy life. We have 50 million sports. But I am like a lot of you. I didn't start that way. This journey has been just that, a journey. And so that's what I want to do tonight is I want to kind of take you guys on my journey the last 6 years. So for those of you that are joining, that are interested, I am a health and fitness coach with Team Beachbody. And you guys are going to hear all about who we are, what we do as coaches, how we earn. And my goal this week is that you just get to take all of this information, get to ask all of the questions that you need to ask, and that hopefully you walk away from here feeling empowered, feeling like you want to make a difference not only in your life but in someone else's, and also just really wanting more out of life. And that's where I was. So let me take you back 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I was a mom to a 5-year-old little boy. I was a high school teacher and volleyball and basketball coach. I worked as a cashier at Walmart because we all know teachers are not paid extravagantly. And I was just exhausted. I have always grown up. I am short and stocky like my dad's side of the family, and I've always had to really work at being healthy. I've always been, quote unquote, on the thicker side. And so I struggled in college with an eating disorder, and after I had my first son, and I struggled with bouts of anxiety and depression. And literally, I'm your girl who, before joining, I had tried everything under the sun. I used to eat lean cuisine meals all the time. I was the 100-calorie pack girl. I did every Pinterest diet that you could find. I did the HCG drops for a while. I tried other shake companies. I did the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders boot camp where I was literally in the mall parking lot at like 5:30 in the morning, sweating my tail off. And I joined it. I was a gym junkie. I would go and spend like hours and hours at the gym, but I wasn't really seeing the results. I was unhappy and uncomfortable in my own skin and just really kind of floating along in life. And so I was at the time about 30 pounds overweight and just wanted a change. I wanted to feel comfortable. I wanted to enjoy life, and nothing I was doing had worked. And so I was approached about this idea of a challenge group. And maybe you've been in a challenge group, maybe you've heard of it, but it's essentially an online community where we support each other, we help each other start a fitness program and complete it, but it's community. And that's exactly what I was looking for. I was feeling really lost and feeling like I didn't belong, not only in my own skin, but just in where I was at in life. And so I jumped in with this crazy blonde-headed celebrity trainer with Turbo Fire, and I started drinking chocolate Shakeology. And I'll be honest, I was a really, really, really big skeptic in the beginning because I have tried every other shake out there. And I was like, I'm not doing another shake. I don't believe in them. I like to eat my food. I just don't. And so I, like everyone else, started doing some research and digging into what it was that my coach was asking me to do. And the more I researched and the more I understood that it wasn't about not eating food, it was about replacing what our bodies are lacking, was adding value, because we don't, as a society, especially in the United States, get enough vitamins and minerals and fruits and vegetables that our bodies truly need. And so while I was learning what to fuel my body with proper nutrition, fruits and vegetables, and full fiber carbs, and the good things that my body needed for energy to sustain, I also started incorporating this shake called Shakeology. And the first 30 days, I lost about 15 pounds, and I just was feeling amazing. I literally, like, you guys know that as a teacher, and I'm in Texas, I was a high school coach. So for that, it literally means I was at the school before sunup and wasn't getting home until after dark. And I didn't have a lot of time. And so I got my workouts in early. My shake allowed me to add something in to curb my cravings in the afternoon, or it allowed me a quick breakfast while I was on my way to practice so that I was still getting the nutrients that I needed. And so I jumped in and I lost 15 pounds the first 30 days. And I was excited, and I just literally started naturally sharing with the teachers that I worked with about what I was doing and how much better I was feeling about myself, not only just mentally, but physically as well. And you would be surprised at like how great that started. Like, it just was like a snowball. And so, you guys, I'll be honest, in the beginning, I couldn't afford to sign up. I couldn't, which is why I was approached about this idea of a discount coach or a preferred member. I couldn't sign up. I couldn't afford it. Like I said, I was working 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And so I sold some stuff on Craigslist. That was back when Craigslist was still really big. And so I sold some of Jaden's clothes and toys and things that we weren't using, because I knew I needed a change, and I knew I needed to try something different. And I'll be honest, I was desperate. I was desperate for something different in my life. And so I jumped in, and I was like, if I'm going to spend this money, I'm going to do what I can to make it work. I wanted absolutely nothing to do with the business side of things. I had no idea what network marketing was or anything about social media. I mean, I used social media to connect with old college friends and old high school friends. I had like maybe 300 to 500 friends on Facebook. Like, I literally knew nothing. And I was like, I don't have time for that. Not only am I a mom, not only am I coaching high school ball and teaching, plus I'm working at Walmart. Then I jumped in and was getting my master's degree. I literally had so many irons in the fire. I was like, I just need the discount. I can't afford to drink Shakeology. And if I like it, then I'd rather I don't want to pay retail price. So that first 30 days, I lost 15 pounds. I was plugging into this online community. I had women that were like supporting me. And in fact, my first 30 days, I ended up in the hospital with emergency gallbladder surgery. And these women were there, and they were like cheering me on, like, you've got this, it's hard. They were praying for me. And so it was just really awesome to be supported by a community who understood what it was like to go through hard things. And so, like I said, I just naturally started sharing what it was I was doing. I had teachers that were coming, because sometimes the only way I could get my workout in was if I did it in my classroom. And so I would hook it up to my projector. That was back when we used DVDs. I'd put the DVD into my computer and I'd do it in my classroom. So I had other teachers coming down to join me, and it was just so much fun that we couldn't not like do it together. And so that kind of is where the wheels started turning in this whole coaching thing. And so we kept going, and that literally 3 months after I started on my journey, I had lost about 25 pounds. We found out we were pregnant with our second son. And so I had built these healthy habits, and I had started to build this community of friends who understood what it was like to go through life. And so here I was starting in this pregnancy, and I wanted it to be healthier, and I wanted to do better than what I had done. My first pregnancy, y'all, I gained 75 pounds. 75. And I was like, that is not happening again. Not only was I not in my early 20s, but I was like, that's just, I can't go back to that. That's an ungodly amount of weight. And so I wanted it to be better. And so I had this community, had the support. And so we went on this journey, and I was invited to go to a local event for these online health and fitness coaches. And I will be honest, I was scared. I was like, I am not about to walk up into this place. I was still on my journey. Now I'm pregnant. Like, what am I walking into? What am I going to see? And I walked in to see literally people from all walks of life, all shapes and sizes, all socioeconomic statuses, like just everything. And it was so inspiring. There was a lady who got up on the stage and started telling her story and talking about how she had lost almost 100 pounds. And I mean, literally, all the tears were just flowing. And there was a coach who was explaining her coach how she was able to help her. And it was like this light bulb clicked off. And I was like, people have already been asking me what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it. I'm naturally sharing it, because the biggest thing that I didn't want to be when I got asked about this opportunity was I didn't want to be a salesperson, because I sucked at retail. I was like, I'm not going to be that person that's like slimy and selling to everyone. I can't be that. And so when I saw these other coaches and I saw these challengers that were like sharing their story and sharing what it was doing for them, I was like, I'm doing that. I'm literally already doing that. I have teachers in my classroom who are joining me. My sister and my mom had joined me on my journey. And I was like, it feels so good. And it felt so natural that I was like, I get it. And so this light bulb clicked off, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start dabbling in this coaching thing. Because like I said, guys, I was busy. I was teaching, I was coaching. I didn't have a whole lot of time to devote, but I kind of saw this vision, and this spiral just started happening. And so like I said, we were pregnant with our second son. And so I started, running my own challenge groups, meaning I was just inviting others to join me on their journey. I was sharing with them what I had done, and I was getting them into this like support and accountability. I had an amazing team that was helping train me on what it was I needed to do. So I got them in there. They were seeing results. They were enjoying it. And then my pregnancy took a turn, and it was kind of rough. And we had a lot of scares and a lot of questions. And I started that school year. So the very first, it was 2013. And my little boy was 5 years old, getting ready to turn 6. And I was dropping him off for kindergarten. I was 32 weeks pregnant, y'all, literally coaching a volleyball game like at school at 6:30 in the morning. And I was so devastated because I was missing out on moments with him. You see, my oldest son struggles with asthma and allergies. And as a teacher, you get 10 days off, 10 for the entire year. And 9 times out of 10, most of those 10 days for me had been used by October because he was always sick. And so here I was getting ready to give birth to our second son. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I have to go back to work, because as a teacher, we don't get paid maternity leave. You get your 10 days. And then if you've donated to a sick pool leave, you maybe get some extra. But it's not paid. You can take FMLA, but that's 12 weeks of unpaid. And you guys heard me say from the beginning, I couldn't even afford to sign up. And I had 3 jobs. Like, the last thing I needed to do was to take 12 weeks unpaid leave. And so I was like, I want something more out of life. And lo and behold, we all know that God has a plan. So I dropped my son off at kindergarten, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to pick him up. In fact, I had to ask someone to cover practice for me that morning so that I could take him to his first day of kindergarten. And I remember just feeling so lost, like I needed and wanted to be more present with him. I had already missed field trips and activity days and all those things that I wanted to be present for, but I just couldn't, because I couldn't afford to take an extra day off knowing that we were going to need them. So then our second son, Caleb, decided to join us early, 4 weeks early. And so he was born at 36 weeks. And I literally coached a volleyball game that night and came home, and my water broke that night and we went into labor. And that was a huge shock and surprise. And he literally rocked our world. At 2 weeks old, he was diagnosed with a congenital heart defect. At 6 weeks old, he got sick and we ended up in the hospital, and for literally about 65 days. And then when he was 3 months old, he had stomach surgery and a feeding tube put in. And then when he was 6 months old, he had open heart surgery. And so that in itself rocked our world. We literally was turned upside down. I was away from my husband. I was away from my oldest son. We spent hours and hours and hours on FaceTime because I was in the hospital with this little baby. All the while, I had this community behind the scenes that was there to support me. My workouts, guys, obviously I'm a new mom, I'm postpartum, and now I'm going through all of this stress of being in the hospital and feeling helpless, like I couldn't do anything. We would literally be in the hospital for a week and a half. We'd come home for a day or two, and then we'd end up right back in there. In fact, in those 65 days, we were home a total of 5. And it was hard and it was rough. And so I have a history of struggling with anxiety and depression. And so I really struggled in that moment. I call what I say I was in fight or flight mode. And so I was in fight or flight mode. And so some of it didn't bother me then. But I had this community of women who literally, I can remember the first week we were in the hospital, they sent me this like large, basically like survival basket, and it had things that I needed, like snacks and extra Shakeology and magazines and just some little self-care things that I could help take care of myself. And then I had my girls in my challenge group who were rocking out their results and pushing and inspiring me to do something for me. Because for me, guys, my workouts are my sanity. They're like my therapy. And here I was in this cold, like dark hospital room every single day. And so you can best believe that when I was cleared, I started rocking out T25 in the hospital. In fact, I had a mom who was next door to us when we were in the PICU come over and join me because she was like in the same boat as I was. So I'm in this environment, and you could honestly get to a point to where you just feel so alone and so isolated, because that's exactly what I was. I was isolated. And the nurses knew me because they knew every morning they'd come around and they'd see me in there doing my workout because they knew that it was like my healthy release. And so it was in that moment, that Christmas, I can remember just like breaking down and asking God what he wanted me to do with my life, where he wanted me to go, because I didn't want to have to leave my son as he was getting ready to endure one of the biggest things that he probably ever will face in his life. And so at that moment, I decided that all of this stuff that had been building, all this community, this support, what was there with me, what was offering, I saw all these coaches that had been walking alongside me, seeing success, coming home from their jobs, supporting their family financially. I knew that this plan B that I had been going, that was helping support my healthy habits, that was providing, extra stuff for Jaden and that kind of thing. I was like, I know what it takes. I have been given the tools to be successful. I want to go all in and see what I can do, because I am not going back to teaching. And that's exactly what I did. I made that decision in November of that year. And I always say it's funny because, and we all know God works in mysterious ways, because the minute I made that decision, we went through the holiday season. Caleb had open heart surgery on March 4th, and I turned in my letter shortly thereafter. And on April 1st, we found out we were pregnant with our third son. And so I was like, well, I knew I had made that decision for a reason. And so I went all in. I made some sacrifices. There was sleepless nights because I knew, and I saw the vision. I saw the passion. I saw what it could do for my family, but not only my family, I saw what it could do for other families as well. And so I dove all in and just started inviting others. I started helping other women feel better about themselves, feel what I was feeling. Here I had 2 pregnancies. So now I've got this one pregnancy. I literally have just went through one of the worst times of our life. And now I'm pregnant again. And so that fear, that anxiety, all those things that had been building up came and resurfaced. But I had this community and this support to help get me through it. And so I went through that pregnancy. And so now I have 2 kiddos that are 13 and a half months apart. So you can imagine that wreaks some pretty good havoc on a woman's body. And so I had to do what a lot of the women in our challenge groups do. I had to go and be in the trenches. I started T25 the minute I was cleared, and I just started grinding. You guys, when I was at my heaviest weight, I was literally pushing 230 pounds after both of those babies. It's the heaviest I had ever been in my life. And for my 5'3" frame, y'all, that's a lot. And so I had the support from my team. I had the support from my challengers, and we just started grinding it out, and we started pouring into each other. We started encouraging each other, and I was able to lose over 88 pounds in 18 months, and at the same time encouraging other women to join me on my journey. And so I get to do that on a daily. I get to inspire other women to be the best versions of themselves so that they can live out their God-given potential, because that's exactly what I did. He placed a calling on my heart. He sparked this, you are meant for more. You're made for more. You have a story to tell. And so does everyone that you work with. And so one of the things that I hear all the time is like, I am on my journey. I can't go where you have been. I can't do what you've done because I still have so far to go. Guys, I've been on this journey. I'm sorry, I've been talking all night, so I apologize. I'm losing my voice. The greatest thing about this business is that I've been able to take people on this journey with me. So since then, that was 2014. We then trucked along in 2016. In 2017, we got pregnant and unfortunately lost our daughter in April. Hardest year of my life. And I wholeheartedly attribute this business, our team, this company, my challengers, God, to getting me through last year. He literally put the people in that needed to be in my life meticulously to help pull me through one of the hardest times of my life. And that's exactly what it was. In fact, literally the week that I lost my daughter, my team was here. We had a retreat planned and I wasn't going to go, and my husband encouraged me to go. It was literally the weekend before I was set to go into the hospital, and he encouraged me to go and be around them because that's exactly what I needed. And you guys, they just poured into me. They prayed over me. We were together, we fellowshipped, and they just let me be where I needed to be. I cried, I laughed, and I'm forever grateful for what that weekend and what God did in that weekend with us. And I am so thankful that they were in my life in that moment because it's exactly what I needed. And so then we were blessed with our rainbow baby just this past March. And so here we are now 6 years later. I have 4 babies and a daughter in heaven. I've lost over 120 pounds combined. And I've been able to build a business to not only impact my family financially, I matched my teaching income. I came home from teaching. I've been able to literally be at home with my boys for the past 5 years. I haven't missed a single field trip or party. I've gotten to be present with them and be more present with Jaden and take in a lot of the things that I felt like I was missing, all while growing this thriving business. And that's exactly why I love what I do, because I get to do it in the mom cracks of life. And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the women and the moms, and you don't have to be a mom. A lot of the women that I work with are moms, but that have that burning desire for something different, that have the grit to want to work hard. Y'all, I didn't build this business overnight. And anyone that tells you that you're going to be an overnight success, like, that was one of my biggest fears, was that I didn't want to be a part of something that was going to promise just this quick fix, and not only like in your health, but also in your finances. I literally, it takes hard work, and that's exactly what I've done over the last 6 years. I have made sacrifices. There have been sleepless nights. I have not watched as much TV or binge watch on Netflix or whatever, but it's because I see the bigger purpose. I see the bigger vision. I see the things that I want in the long term versus what I want now. And I'll be honest, I don't have time. Like, I have to be efficient with the time that I'm given. When I first started this business, when I wanted to make it successful, I was teaching and I was coaching and I was getting my master's and I was pregnant. You don't have a lot of time. But I made it work in the mom cracks of life that I had. I got up a little earlier to pour into myself. I worked during my conference period when I didn't have teaching stuff to do. I ate lunch in my classroom because it meant that I was pouring into other women, because we all know that sometimes our cafeterias or our lunchrooms or our hospitality rooms or whatever kind of breeds negativity. I didn't want to be around that negativity. I wanted to be around the positive women that I was able to pour into and that were pouring into my life. And so I spent my lunch breaks in my classroom pouring into other women, inviting them to join me. I stayed up a little bit later, working and just grinding it out because I saw the vision. I saw the greater future. Now I don't have a lot of time. Not only do I have 4 boys, which if any of you have kids, you know, like that's like 4 schedules in itself. I'm like literally an internet browser with 90 tabs open trying to remember who's scheduled what, when this carpool is, when this, whatever. I also run another business. I have a husband who works nights, which means he sleeps during the day. And so that means I have to manage the household. My oldest plays 3 sports on a select team, which means we literally have something every single night. I'm involved at church in our women's ministry. I've also been helping put on our women's conference, which is like a 3,000 women conference. So you guys, I'm busy now, but I find the mom cracks of life to be efficient. I still, 6 years later, get up early. Why? Because that's my me time. That's the time I not only get to pour into myself. That's the time I not only get to do my workout and my personal development, but I get to pour into others. I still stay up later because I see the greater purpose. I see the vision. And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the women who are willing to work with, that are willing to grind it out. I'm going to give you the training and the tools to be successful. Our team has literally been in the top 1% of the company for the last 5 years. So when you join our tribe, when you join our fit family, like you guys will hear me say that all the time, that's exactly what it is. They are my second family. They know everything. They know my family. They know who is what. And they build me up when I am struggling, because I am just like the rest of you. I am not perfect. I still struggle with nutrition. I miss workouts. I still have bouts of depression and anxiety. I struggle with postpartum depression. And so there's nothing about this journey that is perfect, but I'm coachable, I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to work hard. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. Maybe you're not at the point to where you want to leave your job, but you see it in the future. Maybe you're not at the point where you have kids, but you know that it's coming in the future and you want to be present and you want to be there for them. And so you're willing to put in the work right now so that you can be where you want to be when that child does come. Or maybe you're just looking for something more to add value to your life, to add value to your family's life. Someone once told me that when you teach a mom how to change herself, you change a legacy, you change a family. But when you teach that mom how to empower other moms, other women, how to change, you've got a movement. And y'all, that's a God-sized movement. And that's exactly what it is that we are looking to do. Our team is on fire and we are not slowing down. And we want you to join us. We want you to come in. We want you to link arms with us. And we want to go out there and we want to change the world one woman at a time. So I thank you guys again for joining me. I know that it's late and I'm switching up the schedule just a little bit. Instead of doing 2 videos today for you guys, I'll do the 2nd and 3rd videos tomorrow. And then we will cap off this wonderful event on Wednesday. But as you go through this, I really want you to just take a hard look at what it is, what interested you in the first place in joining this sneak peek. Who invited, whether it was me who invited you here or a team on Team Persevere, but what it was that interested you in joining us in the first place. Is there questions? Do you have concerns, fears, things that you've been thinking about? Please don't hold anything back. We want to know all of those things so that we can address them and help answer any questions or concerns that you might have, because we all have them. I had them, my husband had them, my family had them, and we're going to address a lot of those tomorrow. But if there's something that's been holding you back, I want you to just take a look at what that limiting belief is, what that excuse is, because guys, we all have them. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't know anybody. I don't know if I can make an impact. I don't have a story. Those are all limiting beliefs and things that we tell ourselves. And you guys will hear me say that the greatest blessing of this business hasn't been the health, hasn't been the transformation. The finances are wonderful, but for me, it's been the personal development. It's been learning how to change myself from the inside out, combating it with pouring into my brain positivity, learning how to change my mindset, learning how to overcome obstacles, because you're going to have tough stuff in life, but having a supportive tribe and community to get through it, there's nothing like it. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful Monday evening. If you have questions, tag me in them as you're watching the video so that we can make sure and answer them. And I will see you guys tomorrow.